Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 playing a bit of Team Deathmatch here on the map Combine, running around with everybody's favorite weapon, the Vesper. What I wanted to talk about today was the Vesper, because obviously there's been a nerf to the Vesper over the course of the past couple of days, and we're going to be learning the full details on the Vesper nerf, as well as the buffs and potential nerfs of other weapons. Here, I think in about 1 day's time, I think when David Vonderhaar is going to give us like all the official statements on this stuff. If you guys don't know, Treyarch is working to kind of balance out assault rifles versus submachine guns. They want to kind of make it so assault rifles are good at doing assault rifle things and submachine guns are good at doing submachine gun things. They don't want to make it so submachine guns can really work as they are assault rifles. They don't want assault rifles to work as if they are submachine guns. They want to try and balance out those two weapon tiers, which is pretty good. The one thing that we did learn is apparently RIP Vesper. That's what David Vonderhaar put on Twitter, and a lot of people have looked at the Vesper in particular, and they want to see whether or not they've actually nerfed it, what they've changed about the weapon. And so far, the only noticeable change about the Vesper is they've changed around the recoil of the weapon to try to give it a bit of a nerf, because as of course the Vesper is the highest fire rate submachine gun in the game, and it has what the people say like the third fastest time to kill of all the weapons of Black Ops 3. People want to see the Vesper get nerfed. Now I will say that I'm one of those people that never really thought too much about the Vesper. When I think of overpowered weapons of Black Ops 3, I never thought about the Vesper personally, although that may be a byproduct of how I play Black Ops 3. So I've heard that the Vesper is ridiculously overused in competitive play. I've heard it's ridiculously overused in Search and Destroy, but the game modes that I play, which are primarily kill confirmed with occasionally ground war domination and team deathmatch, like respawn game modes, I never run into the Vesper in those game modes ever. I never see it. It's an afterthought weapon for me. I don't see anyone else using it, and I don't use it personally. I'm mainly using assault rifles right now, and I'm actually getting close to diamond. If you guys want an update on that, I'm getting close to diamond assault rifles. I think I have like one weapon left to go, and it's taken me a long time. I know there's a lot of you guys already have dark matter and stuff, and thinking to yourselves like, why is it taking you so long to get diamond assault rifles? And that's mainly because I don't try to get the camos. I basically go out there and I play the game. When I play the game, I try to win. I try to do well. I don't play with the idea of challenges in mind. Like that's how some people have fun with Call of Duty. They go out there and every match, they're not really too worried about winning or losing or doing well or whatever. They're more worried about completing challenges. That's fine, but that's not how I play. I try to win every single match. I try to put up the best scores I can every time I play. So I just kind of use assault rifles almost exclusively, and I acquire my camos as kind of like a byproduct of that, I suppose. Now, obviously, ones you have to go for, like taking off all of your perks or putting on 6 attachments and stuff, I have to go for those. But aside from that, I don't try for headshots. I don't try to go play specific game modes like hardcore free for all to get my headshots or anything like that. I just play. So that's why it's taken me a very, very long time. But yeah, I've been using assault rifles a ton. And maybe that's another reason why I haven't ran to the Vesper too much, because I'm taking these people out before they even have a chance to get close to me. But I never run into the Vesper. You're watching the gameplay here. I'm using it, and it's a good gun. By no means am I saying the Vesper's a bad gun. There's no reason why anyone should think this is overpowered. No, I can see why people think it's a good gun. It melts people. That's the thing about the Vesper, man. It will melt people at those close ranges, and if you're accurate, it can melt people at those medium ranges as well, which I think is one of the reasons why they want to increase the recoil to try and once again normalize the assault rifle versus submachine gun fight. They want to make sure the submachine guns excel at submachine gun range and that assault rifles excel at assault rifle range, whereas the Vesper and every other SMG really in Black Ops 3, they're pretty good at medium ranges. If you're accurate, you can do well. I think the big downside to the Vesper is the fire rate, actually. The fire rate is so insane. While it's its greatest asset, its fire rate, it's also its biggest deterrence, because that fire rate is going to make it so unless you are incredibly accurate, you're really going to have trouble taking out more than 2 people with the Vesper. That's kind of like a big problem with it, in my opinion. Like, you'll run into 3 people. The chances of you taking out all 3 of the Vesper are pretty slim unless you're incredibly accurate, or even taking out 2 people can sometimes be rough. Like, because let's say you miss a little bit, or you weren't fully reloaded when you go into a gunfight. It's gonna be very difficult for you to take out 2 people. So I felt as though the Vesper was one of those weapons where it was like just perfect for like one-on-one engagements, which maybe that's why people thought it was overpowered, because people that play Search and Destroy, it's very difficult obviously to go up against the Vesper in these one-on-one situations that you typically find yourself in while playing in Search, and of course like competitive Call of Duty where the teams are a lot smaller, like sometimes they're 2s or 3s or 4s or whatever. Then I can see maybe why people hate the Vesper so much, but for me it's just I like the gun. I think it's a fun gun. I don't think it's overpowered. I don't even really see it ever used. It's an afterthought weapon to me, so I feel it's so weird like going after an entire year of complaining about the Ball 27 and the ASM-1 in Advanced Warfare, whereas I'm somebody who's typically very sensitive to overpowered weapons in Call of Duty. The Vesper doesn't bother me. It just hasn't. I feel so weird because there's got to be something wrong with me. Obviously, I think I'm the problem here because like everyone else seems to think that the Vesper is ridiculously overpowered, and I'm just like, Nah, it feels fine to me. I don't understand why people think it's so great. It just, I feel as though I'm definitely in the minority opinion. Therefore, I'm probably wrong. I fully admit that my opinion is my opinion. I'm not like the foremost opinion on Call of Duty. I don't have access to all the stats and information and stuff. That's just what I feel when I play the game. But obviously, with the mass majority of people saying that the Vesper was overpowered, chances are it probably was then, if that many people are saying that. So it's kind of cool they got a nerf, I suppose. It's going to make it so it's a little bit more difficult to use, which if the nerf is only increasing the recoil, which I did see some recoil patterns, they are kind of insane. Instead of like going like just straight up, which is kind of like what it did before, it now goes like straight up and hard to the right, and it kicks even more. Like they increased recoil quite a bit on the Vesper. So, but if that's the only nerf, recoil, I'm okay with that, because that's just another skill factor, and it's going to make it so if you're a good player, then you can deal with the Vesper's extra recoil, and you can continue to use the weapon if you so choose. And if you're a bad player who is maybe just kind of using the Vesper as this high fire rate death cannon for one-on-one fights at close range, then it's going to hurt you, because you're not going to be as good with the weapon, because it's going to have an extra skill factor, which is increased recoil. I've always been for increased recoil on Call of Duty. I think some of my favorite Call of Duties were the Treyarch ones, because they typically had more recoil. Now, of course, here in Black Ops 3, recoil is not really a big deal, but especially the older CODs, I really like games that have a lot of recoil, because it just adds that little bit of extra skill layer to the game, which will make it so a good player can outgun a bad player most of the time. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be my time for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed just discussing the Vesper a little bit, and discussing the idea of normalizing assault rifles versus submachine guns. Now, like I mentioned, David Bonhart did not give us any of these full patch notes. I hate how they're doing the updates this year. Now, they're doing it, I think, to experiment a little bit. The way he kind of hinted at it on Twitter is he's kind of like, they changed around the game, and they didn't even say where they changed it. It could be on the PS4, or it could just be on all the platforms. I don't know. It could just be on one, could be on all, I'm not sure. And they're kind of like seeing like, what we're thinking about the game. They're not going to tell us exactly what they changed, and they're going to try and gauge community feedback based upon not knowing what the changes are, kind of like a placebo effect. And I don't really like the way they're doing that. It's like, just tell us what you changed, and don't make us feel stupid for assuming that something has changed when maybe it really wasn't, or so on. I wish they would just tell us. Information's always a good thing. Tell us what they changed about the game. What weapons have been changed? How did they exactly normalize assault rifles versus submachine guns? What SMGs got buffed, or what assault rifles got nerfed, or vice versa? Like, what happened? Let us know. But apparently we're going to find out at the end of the weekend, which is probably going to be on Monday or maybe early Tuesday. We will have to see. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they changed about the game, because obviously assault rifles and submachine guns are my most used weapons in just about every Call of Duty. I think most people, assault rifles and SMGs are the two top used weapon tiers, I would say, in Call of Duty. If you die to somebody, typically in Call of Duty, it's going to be an assault rifle or a submachine gun. Now, obviously, there's other weapons like machine guns, snipers, special weapons, shotguns, so on and so forth. But for the majority of the time, you're going to be dying to assault rifles and submachine guns, because they are just the easiest to use, and therefore the most overused weapon tiers in Call of Duty. So I'm going to be interested to see what they're going to be changing exactly, and I can't wait to read the official patch notes. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Hope you guys all enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Drop me a rating on the video and let me know your opinion on the Vesper in the comment section below, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.